You will find out what happened on the one day Poseidon stopped accepting offerings and began to accept only drowning. The first city disappears without warning. Not a roar, not a farewell, just the sound of marble cracking under tons of salt water. The statues that once celebrated him now shatter silently, arms and faces sliding across the flooded ground, and no one tries to save them. Here, not even faith deserves mercy. In the center of the temple, a throne of coral and gold lies split in half, as if the sea itself had spat it out. It was never occupied, and now it never will be. It is the seat reserved for the God who does not forget, and that, even when ignored, never forgives. You know him from stories that always end badly, stories whispered by maddened sailors, by priests drowned in silence. Some call him a protector, others an empire destroyer. On Olympus, Poseidon was always treated as necessary, but never as reliable. And today, you will understand why. The waves did not come by chance. They came as an answer to an old crime, to a buried betrayal, to a fury the gods themselves tried to hide under the sea. Today, you'll see what happens when the ocean collects every debt the world tried to forget, and why on that day no mortal had the right to survive. The entire temple turns to face him, the sound of chains dragging between columns, the pressure on your skin, as if the ocean knew that you had a part in it. If Poseidon stood before you now, would you beg for forgiveness, or would you accept sinking with the rest of your story? The ground creaks beneath your feet, like thin ice about to give way. The entire structure of the temple creaks, columns twisting as if trying to escape their own foundation. Cracks spread like the veins of a dying creature. With each new boom, it feels like the entire continent is sinking with you. You are in a temple by the sea, but today, the sea has already entered. Not through the doors, but through the ceiling. Water gushes from above, from the domes, from the cracks above, as if the ocean had turned upside down. Priests run in all directions, heavy robes, footsteps sinking into puddles that turned into rivers. Nobody prays, no one begs. They know that today there is no answer. The altar, once sacred, is now submerged skeleton. Sacred objects float like corpses, and in the center of it all, the trident, carved into the marble, vibrating, whispering. Above, colossal voices explode like multiple thunders. "This is crazy, Hera," says Athena, with the coldness of someone who has already predicted the disaster. "Madness would be to let it go again," Hera answers. And you realize it's already happened. Apollo is silent, golden eyes fixed on the horizon, where the waves grow like walls about to fall. "This is not justice," someone murmurs. "Of course it is," says Zeus, appearing out of nowhere, hair dripping with salt. "It's just not your justice." He smiles. "I asked for a bath, not a baptism." Nobody laughs. The name Atlantis escapes from the mouth of a priest, like an echo that should never have returned. The trident vibrates louder, and you understand it was no accident. Poseidon wants her to be remembered. What happened there wasn't punishment. It was a warning, and today, this warning has a name, yours. The voices do not cease. They collide above your head like thunderclaps in war. You try to breathe, but the air is too humid, too dense, as if the sea itself were trying to invade your lungs. "He broke the pact," says Hera, her voice magnified, echoing like judgment between the leaning columns, "and you know it."
Athena does not respond. Her eyes are fixed on the trident, as if she expects it to move on its own, as someone who has seen it happen before. He didn't break, he reacted. Ares enters the hall as if stepping onto a battlefield. Sandy hands, eyes lit, chest inflated. Finally, someone who understands what war is. You watch the gods arguing as if they were judges, but none of them are above suspicion. They speak not as arbiters, but as accomplices, trying to decide who will take the blame this time. He threatened the whole world, says Apollo. He warned, counters Ares. And then you understand. This is not an attack. It is a demand, a buried reckoning, a warning Poseidon gave and the gods ignored. Athena approaches you, serene eyes, cold as the sea before the storm. You knew he was tricked, didn't you? You want to deny it, but her gaze already knows the answer, and it is too late. The revelation strikes like an icy blade. The world did not keep its pact with Poseidon. Cities hid offerings, rituals were falsified, priests betrayed him, offering sacrifices to the wrong god, deliberately, to irritate him, to force him to react, to create a reason, to banish him. The ground vibrates, but it is not the trident, it is the ocean itself. The crime was committed by mortals, but the guilt is shared with the gods. And now the question falls on you. Would you side with Poseidon, furious but betrayed, or with Olympus, united only to choose a scapegoat? And more important still, do you know what runs through your veins? Because maybe the blood inside you is not entirely human.
The name Atlantis hangs over the room like smoke. No one dares to repeat it, but everyone hears it. And then you see, not a vision, not a dream, but a memory that isn't yours, forced into your eyes by something greater. The hall fades, the columns dissolve. You are no longer in the present. You're thrown into another time. Priests dressed in navy blue place jewels into calm waters. The waves receive them like delicate fingers. Poseidon watches from a distance. He smiles. There is still balance. But then, the gold stops arriving, and with absence comes betrayal. A hooded figure steps into the ritual, without hesitation, throws a knife onto the altar, not against Poseidon, but against a merman, a sun. A blood that should be eternal is poured like ordinary water. You feel the thud in your chest, in your bones. Between the columns, voices whisper, a collusion, gods and priests planning what no one would dare admit, to remove Poseidon, not for justice, but out of fear. They wanted control, not the whims of a god who never accepted losing. And you see time unfolding. Athena, silent and complicit. Aphrodite, smiling in front of the dead body. She says, "Marriages between gods and mortals never work out, but they always lead to good wars." The image disappears. The ruined temple returns. But something inside you didn't come back. You felt the pain as if it were your own. And maybe it always has been. Now the eyes of the gods are upon you, not with curiosity, but with recognition. He is one of them, one of the forgotten. You don't understand, but you feel it. Your blood attracts the sea, and that's why Poseidon is coming.
You hear it before you see it, an impossible sound, as if the bones of a mountain were being crushed from within. And then, the sea attacks. Not like a wave, but like a living wall rising on the horizon, miles of water bending the light, hiding the sun, swallowing everything that dares to face it. Inside, colossal seahorses gallop like ghosts, translucent tentacles writhe in the shadows, and the trident vibrates. The entire temple trembles, the ceiling begins to sag, and the altar cracks like flesh tearing apart. You run, but there is no safe direction. Coastal cities vanish from the map, not with shouting, but with silence. The ground opens and devours entire neighborhoods. Ports, palaces, markets, all disappear. At the bottom of the wave, eyes awaken. Forgotten creatures sealed away for generations emerge. Leviathans, stone crabs, faceless mermaids, all respond to one call. Poseidon wants the earth to breathe water. Ares roars with pleasure. Zeus watches in silence, and Aphrodite dances on top of a collapsing column. You stumble, you fall, and you see two hands reaching out, one from Athena, another from Hera. Choice, says Athena, coldly. Fast, says Hera, the sea does not wait. You don't know what they truly want, but you know what's at stake. An ark drifts in the distance, carrying the last refugees. Your mother is there. Inside the temple, priests scream, and one of them clutches the apple of the abyss. You can only save one side, and the question cuts like a blade against your throat. Would you save the one you love, or the only chance to stop the end of the world? Poseidon does not choose, he destroys. But you still can, for now. Yet the sea will not wait for your answer much longer.
The sky splits in half. It's not a metaphor, it's sound. Zeus's thunder cuts through the clouds like a golden blade, but the light he carries does not illuminate, it blinds. On the other side, the sea responds. Poseidon's trident emerges from the depths, pulling the waters as if the entire ocean were his arm. They don't talk. There is no diplomacy between brothers who have already betrayed each other, and you are at the center of the collision. Lightning strikes, the water boils. Every drop that touches your skin feels like it scratches, salt burning into wounds you didn't even know you had. You scream, but the sound is swallowed by the impact. Poseidon advances, riding a creature made of scales and living coral. His eyes are black, not out of anger, but out of decision. Zeus awaits at the top of a floating tower, forged from condensed storm. The world holds its breath. And then, they collide. Lightning meets the sea, the trident pierces the storm, and the impact tears time apart. Mountains tremble, rivers vanish, the map of Greece reshapes before your eyes. You don't see gods fighting, you see primordial forces trying to rewrite creation itself. In the midst of chaos, Athena approaches. "Now you understand," she says. Neither of them wants peace. They want domination. You look at Poseidon, drowning continents. You look at Zeus, tearing the sky apart so he won't lose the earth. She continues, "If you want to survive, choose power. If you want justice, choose memory." You realize no choice is clean, and none will leave the world intact, because now you understand there are no heroes among the gods, only sides, and still, someone is waiting for you to choose one. Now.
The sound disappears. It does not decrease. It does not dissolve. It vanishes. The clash between trident and lightning opened something, not in heaven, but in the world. And now, the world does not breathe. No wind, no air, not even you. It feels as if reality itself has been ripped away. The gods stop as well. Ares lowers his fist. Athena narrows her eyes. Zeus descends from his cloud with uncertain steps. Poseidon stands motionless, trident in hand, his gaze fixed on something no one else can see. And then you feel it, not a presence, but a void, as if the ocean itself were afraid. The waters retreat, not like a tide, but like a forced withdrawal, and what emerges should never have been exposed. Black rocks, broken chains, symbols that not even the gods recognize, and at the center, a golden glow, not light, not fire, a fruit, small, perfect,
radiating something so ancient it makes the gods recoil. "It can't be," Hera whispers. "This was sealed before Olympus." And then she appears, Ares, standing at the edge of the crater. In her eyes there is no chaos, only purpose. She lifts the object, a golden apple older than any throne. "Let the choosing begin," she says, and smiles. But deep in your chest, something contracts, as if the apple were not being revealed, but remembered.
The apple pulses, not an heiress, in you. You feel its weight without touching it, as if the object already knew where it should fall. The silence of the gods is more terrifying than any scream. "It shouldn't exist," says Athena, her eyes like stone. "But it does," replies Aphrodite with a disdainful smile. "And now, someone has to choose." "And why him?" Hera demands, pointing at you. "He's not even a full god." No one disputes it. No one offers an alternative. Eris just watches, like someone who has seen this play repeated countless times, with the same ending. You step closer. The apple shines, and it burns. In an instant, visions tear through your mind. Ships on fire, cities in ruins, children carried away by the waves, a wooden horse, and one name echoing in blood: Troy. You understand. This is not a prize. It is the trigger. Hera moves first. "Choose the side of royalty. I will have a throne waiting for you, and survival guaranteed." Athena follows. "Choose wisdom, and the secrets of the world will be yours, even those the gods tried to bury." Aphrodite comes last. She says nothing. She only smiles, like someone who already knows she will be chosen. The apple burns in your hand, not like fire, but like a demand. You realize what it wants is not desire, it is sacrifice. So now, which one would you choose, knowing that any choice begins chaos? Aphrodite touches your shoulder. She says, "Choose quickly. The world, it has already begun to crumble."
You reach out your hand, but before the apple touches your skin, the ground breaks, not like an earthquake, like a judgment. The temple collapses from the inside out. Columns fall like sacrificial pieces, and the sea returns, not as punishment, but as a final seal. You fall, not into stone, not into water. You fall into time itself. As you descend, voices echo and collide around you. It's not over yet. He knows too much. What we awakened is not just Poseidon. The light vanishes, the sound disappears, everything shuts down, and in the last second, a voice whispers. If surviving the wedding of the gods was already impossible, wait until you see when they all choose sides.
You don't know how long you've been falling. Minutes, hours, lives. But what awaits you at the bottom is not the sea. It's something older, darker, something the gods tried to bury, even from themselves. If Poseidon could sink cities, what comes next could sink Olympus itself. Do you want to discover what lies buried beneath Atlantis? Then subscribe, because the next dive is not out of curiosity. It is for survival.